Have you ever wanted a garden that looks brilliant but needs less of your precious time? You have come to the right place, so please click like and subscribe. The old way of gardening, endless weeding, constant watering and back-breaking work is starting to feel a bit much, isn't it? The future of our outdoor spaces and the big trend for 2026 is all about working smarter, not harder. It is about creating beautiful, lush and useful gardens that practically look after themselves. This is not about being lazy, it is about being clever. The biggest shift we are seeing in 2026 is the move towards low-maintenance sustainability. Let's be honest, we all lead busy lives. We want a garden that looks fantastic, but we do not always have hours to spend on it every week. People are actively searching for ways to have a beautiful space that is also kind to the planet and their schedule. This means less mowing, less weeding, much less watering. The first and easiest step you can take is to embrace mulch. A thick layer of organic material is a game changer. Bark chips, straw and shredded leaves. Spread over your flower beds, it's the gardening equivalent of a magic wand. Why is mulch so brilliant? Firstly, it acts like a blanket for your soil, keeping it cool and moist, which means you need to water far less often. Secondly, it is a fantastic weed suppressant. That thick layer blocks sunlight, preventing weed seeds from sprouting in the first place. This single action can dramatically cut down the time you spend pulling up unwanted plants. As organic mulch slowly breaks down, it enriches the soil with vital nutrients, feeding your plants for free. It's a simple circular system that saves you time, water, and effort. Applying a fresh, generous layer each spring is one of the best investments you can make in your garden's health. Next, let's talk about your plant choices. The key to a low-effort garden is picking the right plants for the right place. This is where native plants become your best friends. They've evolved to thrive in your local climate and soil naturally. They are already adapted, which means less water, less feeding, and more resistance to local pests and diseases. Plus, they attract local wildlife, bees and butterflies. They provide food and shelter, turning your garden into a miniature nature reserve. Alongside natives, look for plants labeled as drought-tolerant. These are champions of water conservation. Think lavender, sedum and yarrow. They provide color and texture for months on end and thrive on neglect once they are established. You can almost plant them and forget them. Another fantastic low-maintenance choice is ornamental grasses. They add movement, sound and structure to the garden all year round. Most varieties require little more than an annual trim. They are the perfect way to fill a space with texture and style without adding to your workload. Your garden in 2026 is no longer just a patch of land to be viewed from the window. It is an essential, usable part of your home. The third major trend is the creation of multifunctional outdoor living spaces. Think of your garden as another room, one without a roof. Design it with the same care you give your living room or kitchen. Start by zoning the space. A spot for dining. A comfortable corner for relaxing with a book. A patch of lawn for games or play. You do not need a huge garden. Even a small patio can be cleverly divided. The furniture you choose plays a huge role in flexibility. Lightweight, movable furniture is your best friend. Comfortable chairs move to follow the sun, shifted into the shade when it gets too hot. Far more useful than a heavy static bench, foldable tables are perfect for small spaces. Set up for an impromptu dinner party. Pack it away to free up the space afterwards. Dual-purpose furniture, a storage bench that hides cushions and tools, and also provides extra seating. Every good living room needs a focal point. In the garden, often a cooking zone. You do not need a massive built-in outdoor kitchen. A simple portable grill, a compact pizza oven. Pair it with a small prep table, and smart storage for your tools. A vertical herb garden on a nearby wall. Practical, space-saving and pleasing to the eye. Grab a handful of fresh herbs while you cook. This creates a social hub where food and fresh air come together. Finally, do not forget ambiance, especially for the evenings. Smart use of shade and lighting extends the time you spend outdoors. A simple sail shade, or a stylish umbrella. A pergola covered in jasmine or wisteria for dappled shade and scent. As dusk falls, lighting becomes key. Solar-powered string lights, lanterns, uplighters at the base of a tree or shrub, and fairy lights trailing from the branches. They transform your garden from dark and empty into a welcoming room long after sunset. At the very heart of low-maintenance gardening are two fundamental elements. Water soil. Getting these right is the secret to a garden that thrives with minimal intervention. The fourth trend, smart water, smart soil, is all about using resources wisely to create a resilient and self-sufficient garden. Let's start with watering. The old-fashioned method of standing with a hose and spraying everything in sight is wasteful and often ineffective. Much of that water evaporates before it reaches roots. Deliver water directly where it's needed. Drip irrigation systems are a brilliant solution. Networks of tubes, small emitters, they seep water slowly at the plant base. Almost no water is lost to evaporation, which is highly efficient. Roots get a deep, thorough soaking. Connect systems to a simple tap timer to automate. Set it to water very early in the morning. Cooler temperatures mean less evaporation. Capture rainwater in a water butt. Rainwater is free. Soft water perfect for container plants. Reduces mains reliance. Reading about these trends is inspiring, but the real magic happens when you put them into action. The best way to start is by taking small, manageable steps. You do not need to overhaul your entire garden in one go. Making one or two small changes this weekend can have a big impact and build your confidence. The goal is to create momentum. So, here are 5 simple, practical actions you can take over the next couple of days to begin your journey towards a smarter, lower-maintenance garden. Pick one that feels achievable and just give it a go. First on the list, add a layer of mulch to one of your garden beds. This is a task that provides instant gratification. Go to your local garden center and buy a few bags of bark chips or whatever organic mulch you prefer. Spend an hour or two spreading a thick, generous layer, about 2 to 3 inches deep, around the plants in one of your flower beds. Be careful not to pile it up against the stems of the plants themselves. Step back and admire your work. Not only does it look neat and tidy, but you have just saved yourself hours of future weeding and watering for that part of the garden. Second, plant for a purpose. Head out and buy just one new plant, but choose it carefully. If your goal is to help wildlife, pick one native shrub, a pot of 3 pollinator-friendly flowers, salvia or lavender. If you want to grow food, start small and buy a pot of mint or a small tomato plant. Find the right spot for it in your garden, a place where it will be happy and serve its purpose whilst being easy to access. This simple act of intentional planting will begin to shift your mindset from just filling space to creating a garden with a clear and rewarding function. It is a small step that connects you directly to the ecosystem you are building. Third, get smart with your water. This weekend could be the time you finally install that water butt you have been thinking about, or at the very least, order one online. It is a simple job to connect it to a downpipe. If that feels like too much, start smaller. Buy a simple timer for your tap for your sprinkler system. Or even just make a conscious decision to water your pots and beds early in the morning instead of in the heat of the day. So there you have it. The secret to a 2026 ready garden is not about having more time, not about more money, not about more space. It's about being smarter, more intentional, a little bit kinder to yourself and the planet. Let go of the idea that a garden must be constant work. Embrace it as a place of relaxation, joy, purpose. Focus on low-maintenance sustainability, purposeful planting, creating multifunctional spaces. Design an outdoor area that enhances your life, not your chore list. Shift from over-gardening to clever gardening. Choose the right plants. Natives tend to take care of themselves. Drought-tolerant varieties. Use simple techniques, mulching, composting. Build healthy, resilient soil that does half the work. Turn your garden into a proper outdoor room. Make it a flexible space for cooking, dining, relaxing. Let me know that you want more of this content by clicking the like and subscribe buttons, so you won't miss easy home and gardening tips that we'll share. Your support helps grow this community of smart homeowners and gardeners. It's a quick click that makes a big difference. Most important takeaway, start small. Don't feel overwhelmed. Pick one thing to do this weekend. Add a layer of mulch. Plant one purposeful plant. Move a comfortable chair outside and sit for a while, imagining the possibilities.